Public Finance and Taxation. For those who don't know me, my name is CPA Ringo, and I'll be taking you through Public Finance and Taxation, of course, intermediate level, all through this semester. The reason why I normally love Public Finance and Taxation is that these are very practical unit, and the beauty part of it normally changes. So you must always be up to date with all these changes. So at this level, as we are starting, I want to assure you guys that Public Finance and Taxation is a very interesting unit. If at all, you only approach it with an open mind. Given the fact that tax affects all of us, so you'll find that this unit is very practical. So looking at public finance, talk about public finance and taxation, talk about public finance and taxation. You will realize that we're having how many parts? We're having two parts. We're having an area of public finance, and we'll be having an area to do what? To do taxation. So it's like this unit is divided into two parts. That is the first part, which is public finance, and the other part, which is taxation. So at this point, I'll want us to just have an overview, because today's class is just a matter of us understanding what will be expected, of course, to cover through this journey. So it is important that at least you understand the basics and the overview of public finance, but I can assure you it is a very interesting unit. So to start with, at this point, maybe I'll want to dissect, of course, the topics that we'll be expected to cover. We'll also be looking at some of the strategies that we should employ for us to be successful in tax. So at this point, you'll be expected to cover roughly like 13 topics. Public finance and taxation has 13 topics, which will be expected to cover as at the end of the day. So on this case, let us divide this into two. Let us say that this is part one. Part one, we are going to term it as the area to do with public finance. Public finance. This is part one. Talk about public finance. This is part one. So when we'll be dealing with the public finance, is about us, or it will be important for us, right, to understand the administrative part of managing our finances and resources when we are looking at it in terms of what? In terms of the public sector. So you'll find that as much as it is a theoretical part of public finance, but very interesting and also very practical. So at this point, if at all we can dive into that, you'll find that topic number one, if we are to analyze this deeply, topic number one, we will be expected to cover what we normally refer to as the introduction to public financial management. So you're talking about introduction to public financial management. Introduction to public financial management. This will be our first part, where what will you be expected to understand when it comes to the aspect of introduction to public financial management. At this point, my good students, it will be important for us to understand anytime when you're talking about public finance, right, what will come at the back of our mind? When you're talking about the sources probably of public finance, what should we be able to understand? Because every now and then you normally tend to at least want, of course, our leaders to be accountable. But the question is, if at all you are asked for the framework, are you able to explain? Or it's just rumors that you hear that these guys basically are misappropriating their funds? If at all you are asked what is the source of this government revenue, are you able to clearly mention other than tax? You see, if you're asked of public expenditure, can you literally give a detailed explanation of what public expenditure is? If at all today, maybe I ask one of you, do you know any member of parliament who is in a the Public Finance Committee? Are you able to explain? You see, so all these are the items that we should always be able to understand, so that even if we want to maybe put our leaders maybe into question, at least we are asking what we understand. So you'll find that public finance introduction part of it, it will be a matter of us being introduced to all these concepts. Talk about budget process. I know even if now, if I ask, and actually I want to prove this. Yeah, I want to prove this. Let me ask this question. I know the first class and it's an overview. Let me just ask this question. Caroline. Okello, are you getting
one? Yes, I'm getting you.
Give me the budget of Kenya in year 2023, 2024. What are we running at? What is our budget?
I can just guess it's around 3 trillion.
What is the exact budget? Let us see. Let us see the reality. Carol, what is the budget? Aurelia, I'm seeing you're trying to Google.
I'm guessing it is 3 trillion.
3 trillion. Aurelia, I can see you're trying to Google. Aurelia, what is the budget? Kenyan budget 2023, 2024. This is very practical. Mary, don't Google. Mary, what is our budget? Mary, don't Google. Mary, what is our budget? Mary is Googling. Mary is Googling. Joy, what is our budget? Parapotea. Tina, where or let me ask, where I think, yes, Tina?
I think it's 3.7.
You've Googled already? You've Googled already? You see, like these are some of the things that always should be in our fingertips. You see, this is very practical. So we want all these guys to be very kind of responsible on how they are utilizing our resources, but there are things that normally
I'm on the road driving.
Oh, understandable.
I'm still on the road.
Yes. Sure, Aurelia, we understand you. So you'll find that it will be important, right, for us to always be very keen with these things practically. Maybe where I know you're in Rwanda. What is your budget in Rwanda? Where 2023, 2024, or your financial year?
Ours is like $5 billion.
$5 billion, or you normally quote it in terms of dollars, right? $5 billion.
Yeah.
This I can't argue because I haven't checked for Rwanda, but yeah, it's good if at all you're having an idea. If at all, whether you told us the exact value, which is okay. So you'll find that this public finance, right? You must be very thorough with exactly what is happening around us. So you realize that public finance is always very practical, and it is important that at least we have all these items in hand. So the moment we've understood topic number 1, if at all we have to analyze topic number 2, we'll be expected to understand the relationship between, right, between national, of course, and county governments, national and county governments, national and of course county governments on budget and economic matters, on budget and economic matters. You see? So you'll find that this topic is very important, because you'll find that with the introduction, of course, of these counties, right? It is the responsibility of the national government for each and every year at least to allocate some funds to these county governments. At the same time, you'll find that the county governments will also be responsible at least to make sure that the resources allocated to them are utilized. as per the intention. It is very unfortunate that maybe in our counties, when these resources are allocated, it is as if we are paying the governors kind of remuneration, because many a times you'll find that very few counties, they will utilize these resources appropriately. But you'll find, if at all you don't have this knowledge clearly, we can't basically put these guys into maybe we can't question them, simply because at this point we don't, for us, the people who are expected to be the mirror of the society when it comes to finance matters. Many a times it is very unfortunate that majority of the accounting students, they normally just tend to study to pass, which is very, very unfortunate. But if at all you take this with a keen interest, you'll find that in the event that you want to question these guys, you'll be questioning them based on what you know or what you understand personally. So understanding the relationship between national and county government on budget and economic matters, it is also a very practical topic, where at this point you will find that many a times it will be upon us, number one, of course, to understand the process of sharing the national cake to the counties. You'll also find that it will also be important for us to understand the role of Council of Governors, maybe when it comes to matters to do with the financial management. You see, all these elements, you just want to depict that relationship between county and national government, which affects us directly. So again, you'll also find that topic number 2, it is also a very practical topic. After we are done with topic number 2, and the beauty part is that all these components will always tend to relate. So if at all we are to analyze now topic number 3, at this point you'll be expected to understand the oversight function, about oversight function, of course, in public finance management, oversight function in public finance management. Today, I think either today or yesterday, you find that the governor of Nairobi was in, of course, the Senate, trying to explain how the resources have been utilized. So unfortunately, some of the things probably weren't explained clearly, but you'll find that there are those committees which are charged with the responsibility of making sure that these resources are utilized as intended. So our focus here in understanding the oversight function of public financial management, it will be very key. And this is a point whereby all of us, at least we should always tend to be very tentative, because at this point, you'll find that it will be upon us to understand the role of National Assembly when it comes to, of course, matters to do with budget. It will be important for us to understand the role of the Senate, that is the responsibilities of the Senate Budget Committee when it comes to public finance matters. You'll find that all of us, we've heard of Auditor General. So if I may ask, maybe let me ask this question. Kindly don't Google. Tina, are you able to hear Mwalimu well?
Yeah.
Don't mute. Tina, who is the Auditor General in Kenya? Who is our Auditor General? Parapotea. Tina, don't Google.
I'm not Googling. I'm not.
I can guess the first name. I think she's Lucy somebody.
I don't know. I want the full name. Parapotea. Parapotea, Mary. Mary, you are Googling. I'm seeing you are Googling. Mary, who's the Auditor General? You see,
Nancy,
these are
Nancy.
practical.
Nancy.
You've Googled. First of all, you said Lucy, right? So generally, you'll find that these are practical. These are literally things that loose around us, imagine. And the beauty why I love public finance is that you'll find that even in if at all you were to look at it on an examination perspective, these are things that you don't even need to cram because they do surround us, and actually there are things that affects us directly. So that's why I normally tend to say that public finance is always very interesting, because whatever that you are covering is what surrounds us. It's what surrounds us. So in that case, I wish I could have switched Google to all of us, so that whenever Mwalimu asks questions, you don't have that chance to Google. So you'll find that when you're talking about the oversight function, we'll be looking at the Auditor General, talk about the role of internal audit. You see, we'll be talking about the control of budget. So topic number 3 is all about these parties and committees that are set to make sure that at least all the resources in relation to public resources are utilized as intended. So after that, you'll find that now we'll be talking about topic number 4. And topic number 4, this is where the issue always is. If at all you hear there's a corruption in government, it will always tend to relate to those we'll be covering in topic number 2. Where and topic number 4? Topic number 4, it is all about what? Procurement in public entities. Procurement in public entities. Procurement in public entities. If you guys, you can recall those days of KEMSA, right? A person was just passing by on the gates of KEMSA, is being given a tender. Procurement issues. So you'll find that procurement in public entities, it is very key and very important, because many a times we might wish to trade with the government, but unfortunately, majority of us, they don't even know the process of how to tender, right? In that case, you'll approach someone, someone is going to charge you like 50,000 to apply you, to assist you to maybe do a tender. You see, and these are things that we can literally learn. So you'll find that topic number 4, it is all about us understanding the procurement in public entities. At this point, remember with the concept of DFMIS, talk about aspect of there's this act which we normally refer to it as the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. It is always very important that at least we do understand some of these acts in the process. And there is that aspect of the beauty part of Kenya is that we have adopted technology very much. So there's that aspect of course, e-procurement. So you'll find that understanding procurement in public entities will not only open our minds on how these things work, but also it might provide us with a chance as a form of what? A revenue generation activity. Because if you get a person, this person maybe will want to understand how to do a tender, and he doesn't or she doesn't have any idea. And because you are a finance student, you've gathered all the information and you've studied well, you can help this person to do this. And you're not going to do that for free. You're going to charge that person. You see, so in this case, you'll find that the same knowledge can literally be used as a form of what? A revenue earning activity. So you'll find that topic number 4, it is also very, very interesting. After topic number 4, of course, that should take us to topic number 5, which in this case, we normally refer to it as a triple P. So we're having topic number 5, where we are talking about public-private partnership arrangements, public-private partnership arrangements, public-private partnership arrangements. In this case, we normally refer to this as what? As triple P, as triple P. So giving you maybe a basic concept on triple P, it works in a sense that maybe as a government, we're having a project that you want to implement. And maybe because of 1 or 2 reasons, this project might probably be costly. So what are we going to do? We're going to approach maybe a company or maybe a country or maybe a bank or maybe various investors. We come into an agreement. A good example is Expressway, right here in Nairobi. Talk about all of us, you've heard of SGR. So you'll find that there is this aspect of partnership whereby the government, which now we are referring to it as public, because anyway, they are acting on behalf of us, right? So the government will come into partnership with these investors to deliver on some specific projects. And these projects, as at the end of the day, they will be of beneficial to all the taxpayers. It's going to benefit all the taxpayers. So in this sense, you'll find that it will be important that this partnership do works, because as at the end of the day, it is for the benefit of the citizens. Like right now, expressway, we are all using expressway as taxpayers. Talk about SGR, we're using SGR. It has literally assisted in transport. So you'll find that all these partnerships, right? The core objective is to deliver to the citizens. And that's why you'll find that it is also important for us to understand the concept of public-private partnership arrangement. That is what we'll be dissecting in topic number 5. So after that, that should take us to topic number 6. And in topic number 6, my good students, we will be expected to understand what you normally refer to as public debt management. Public debt management. Of course, debt will come in a play where the government, of course, has its budget in terms of revenue and in terms of expenditure. So whenever there is deficit, you'll find that what government will do, government will borrow. And in this case, they can either borrow internally or they can also borrow externally. All of us we've heard of Eurobond, right? All of us we've heard of Eurobond. Able someone tell us what a Eurobond is, and don't tell us that it is a bond from Europe. Caroline, what is a Eurobond? If you're asked, Eurobond. See, this thing has been on the news for so many years. If you're told to define what a Eurobond is, what can you say? Don't tell us it is a bond from Europe, Caro.
No.
Huh? What is a Eurobond? What do you understand? What concept do you have?
From my side, I understand it as investors from these other countries injecting money or buying bonds in Kenya. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Yeah. Investing in this particular country. So there are private people in these particular countries, but buying bonds from the Kenyan government. That's my take.
Nice thought, nice trial. Rina, what do you think? You've heard of Eurobond, right, Rina?
Yes, I've heard about it.
What do you think? What is your concept of Eurobond?
I think it's just an external debt instrument issued by government.
It is what? Pardon?
An external debt instrument issued by government.
An external debt instrument issued by the government. Nice idea, and we are on the right line. Tina, what do you think?
I think it's a long-term debt instrument that a country can get from let's say an example, Kenya can get a loan from Tanzania, like in their currency.
In their currency.
Yeah.
So Tina, she's bringing a very important concept what actually will almost explain Eurobond. Maybe let's hear from Wera. Wera, what do you think Eurobond is?
Because I watched your video on YouTube. I can say, if I remember well, it is a marketable security in another country. I don't know if another country.
Simply the bond issued in a different denomination, right? Whereby, say, for example, Kenya, we are issuing out a bond, and maybe I'm issuing it out with Tanzania shillings, or maybe I'm issuing it out with Uganda shillings. Simply is a bond issued in a different denomination. That is a bond. And come to think of it, if at all you're told to differentiate between, remember, these are things that you don't need to have gone to class. These are things that affect us and they all surround us. What is the difference? Joy, what is the difference between a bill and a bond? If at all you are asked of the difference between a bill, assuming you're talking about treasury bill and you're talking about treasury bond. Assuming you're told to give the difference, what can you say? Joy, you are on you. Joy, I'm very sure Mwalimu is audible on your end. Mary, if you're told to differentiate between a bill and a bond, what can you say?
Okay, I can try.
Kindly.
A bill.
Mm-hmm.
A bill is to be settled on a short-term period.
Mm-hmm.
And a bond, maybe a long-term period.
What is short-term and what is long-term? The last terms are right, short-term, bill, and long-term bond. So what are these that you're talking about, short-term and long-term?
Long-term, I mean the investment itself. So the debt is to be settled on long-term and short-term.
So basically, first of all, you understand that these are securities issued by the government, right? Where the maturity period for bill is less than a year, meaning that is a short term. Whereas maturity period for a bond, it is a long term because it is more than a year. So my good students will find that these are things that doesn't require us to have gone in class. Why? Because these are things that do surround us. We normally tend to hear of all these terms every now and then. So you'll find that the whole concept of public debt management, it will be important for us to understand that now, when just the other day, guys were very happy that maybe maybe the strength of the Kenya shillings has increased. Why? What are the reasons behind that? You find. So in this case, you'll find that there are so many factors that led to that, but of course, the people didn't have knowledge. Some of them were celebrating without knowing the metrics behind it. So in the event that we understand the whole of these concepts, you'll find that there are some things that if happens around us, we will not be excited just like any other people because we know exactly what is happening. So you'll find that, my good students, public finance is all about, and is a very interesting part. It always talks about what surrounds us. And part one, which you said is public finance, it will entail these 6 topics, which they are theoretical, yes, but very interesting. So we say that this is part one, which part one will entail the concept of what? Public finance. Part one basically will be dealing with what? Public finance. Now, part two of this unit is now what we are talking of, taxation part. Part two. All of us, we are victims or we are contributors of tax, either directly or indirectly. So in this case, part two, we'll be talking about what? Taxation. You see, part two, we'll be talking about the taxation component of it. So for tax, you'll find that at this point, there are some few areas that if you're good at, and at that point, Mwalimu will be sharing with us, taxation point is very, very easy. So topic number 7, in this case, it will be about us being now introduced to the world of tax. So at this point, we'll be about what? Introduction to taxation. This is introduction to taxation. Introduction to taxation. At this point, you'll find that it is as if now we are being introduced, of course, to the world of tax. And the world of tax is always very interesting. And this is what I can tell you for free. This is what I can tell you for free. Because our class will be based on things that do happen in practice, I am expecting that all of us, by the time we are clear with these concepts of taxation, I am expecting majority of us at least to use this knowledge to earn. You see, because we said that in all our classes, what we normally tend to do, our focus is always learning. This is what Mwalimu always tend to say. You see, our focus is always learning. acquiring knowledge and not studying. And one of the best advantage of tax is that at this basic level, once you have learned, you can just remove this L. You see, once you have learned, remove this L and you start earning. Why? Because at this point, we'll be having VAT. Every business, so long as they have reached a certain threshold, in majority have reached that threshold, they are supposed to do it to fight VAT. We have the concept of turnover tax. Any business, the small traders now, they are under this bracket UT. There are so many outside here. You'll find that at this point, we'll be talking about aspect of payee. Majority of the small traders who are coming even from your families and friends, they have businesses and they will want this to be done to them. You see, in this case, there's a payee, there's a VAT, there is concept of what we normally refer to as NSSF. We have NHIF. You see, these are the knowledge, if at all you have this. And the beauty part is that this class will have a chance to do some of these things and look at them on the practical perspective. If at all we have a chance to understand all this, the moment you've learned, you've said, you remove this L and you start earning. You start earning. Don't go far. Use your friends, use your families. After this knowledge, you'll be very confident. Approach them and say you can assist them to do this at a fee, of course, not for free. So you'll find by the time you're done with this knowledge, my good students, I'm expecting you to at least remove that L and
Hello.
Yes, kindly question.
Nakusikia. Hello, unanisikia? Unanisikia?
Kindly make sure if at all you're not asking your question, make sure you are muted. Make sure that if you're not asking a question, make sure that you're muted. So Morimu is saying that at this point, it is important that at least we have this knowledge, because this knowledge will help us a lot. This knowledge will help us a lot even to earn. And the good thing with tax is that once you have this knowledge and someone holds your hand, Morimu will always be here. I'm expecting you guys to be earning from that knowledge. Nowadays, there's that concept of e-teams, right? There's that aspect of e-teams. You can basically make a lot. You can make a lot so long as you are having a very clear understanding and knowledge on that. So tax is very, very practical and very, very interesting. So topic number 7, you're saying we're going to be introduced to the world of tax, as understanding the types of tax, as understanding the whole processes of maybe the nature of tax and what literally entails tax. So that is what we'll be expected to cover in topic number 7. Jump to topic number 8, my good students. Topic number 8, of course, we will be expected to now understand, after we've understood the concept of taxation as being introduced to that world, that should take us to taxation of income of persons. You see, we'll be expected to cover taxation of income of persons. Taxation of income of persons. That is what we'll be expected to cover. Taxation of income of persons. And when we are talking of persons, remember, at this point, you're looking at both businesses and individuals. Now, you'll find that we are heading towards June, right? Many businesses are expected to file their returns before June. And that's why you can also see that Kenya Revenue Authority is really advertising that you guys should file your returns before end of June. What are we talking about here? We're talking about what? Taxation of income of persons. If you are an employed person, at this point, of course, it will be expected that you get that P9 from your employer. The question is, do you know how to file the returns? Do you know the components that should be included in filing your returns? We have sole traders. Do you know how to file the returns? We have the aspect to do with partnership. We have companies, you see. So all these are what we'll be looking at here. under taxation of persons. So at this point, I'll be expecting you guys to have a clear knowledge and understanding on some of the components that must always be included in filing these returns, which will really help us a lot, So after that case, my good students, the other case that you should also be expected to cover here after understanding topic number 8, this is topic number 9. And topic number 9 is all about what? Investment deductions. All of us, we must have heard of what? The capital allowances. So in this case, we'll be talking about what? Investment allowances, or simply the capital allowances. So I am an investor. We purchased basically these assets. As a government, they'll want to encourage investments. So on this case, I'm going to be granted some deductions on my investment. With these deductions later on, as we'll be seeing it, you'll find that it is going to assist us in reducing the amount that should be subjected to tax. And at the end, you'll find that it is going to help us in reducing the amount that you're supposed to pay as tax. So investment allowances, you'll find that is something that it is very key, not only at this level, but anywhere where you're going to get tax. At this level, in the next level, anywhere where you'll be getting tax, you'll find that investment allowances will always be very key. After topic number 9, my good students, you'll be expected to cover topic number 10. And what does topic number 10 entails? Topic number 10 entails the aspect to do with what? Administration of income and tax procedures. Administration of income and tax procedures. Administration of income and tax procedures, where at this point, you'll find that you'll be expected to understand some of the concept to do with what? Aspect of iTax. This is aspect to do with maybe information technology in tax, that is iTax, we'll be looking at it. We'll also be able to understand some of the penalties, of course, attributable to the point that maybe we are not compliant, you see. Also, at the same time, we'll also be expected to understand the assessments that we normally tend to talk about. So you'll find that also, as much as it is theoretical part, but it is very practical. It affects us on a day-to-day activities. Looking at topic number 11, my good students, topic number 11, of course, we will be expected to cover also something very interesting here. And at this point, you'll find that whatever that you'll be expected to cover in topic number 11 is something that you are all familiar with. And this is what? Administrative, or rather administration of what? Of VAT. Administration of value added tax. Every now and then, whenever the government probably increases or introduces a VAT on item, we'll all cry that the prices of goods and services will tend to increase. What is the reason? What is the reason? What is the impact of VAT in the economy? You see? So at this point, you'll be expected to understand the whole processes of VAT, how to compute the VAT, what are the items that should not be considered for value-added tax, you see? So it is a very practical and also a very interesting area. So after we are done with our topic number 11, of course, the other topic that will be expected to cover here is what we normally refer to as what? Also theoretical. Topic number 12, in this case, will be expected to cover custom taxes and excise taxes. Custom taxes and excise taxes. You'll hear guys are complaining that nowadays, whenever they import goods, you'll find that previously it was being charged on weight, but nowadays it is being charged on the value of goods, right? So about this value. So how are we supposed to compute these customs? How will we be expected to understand these excise taxes? So this is what we'll be expected to cover under topic number 12, which is custom taxes and excise taxes. Finally, if I told you to look at our last topic, you'll find that our last topic, of course, you'll be expected to understand miscellaneous fees and levies. These are, of course, our miscellaneous fees. Talk about our miscellaneous fees, and of course, levies. Miscellaneous fees and levies. So also at this point, we'll be looking at some of the emerging issues, of course, in tax. So my good students, as at the end of our course, we must be done and through with these 13 topics. We are looking at the first part, which is public finance, and the second part, which is taxation. So this is what we will be expected to cover by the time we are through with our course or semester. And we're looking at how many months? Because we've started early, we're looking at May, June, July, actually up to July. So we're looking at roughly like 3 months only. May, June, July. I'm really pitying the students who are planning to start their classes late, because in that case, they'd be having a lot of pressure to clear all these tasks. So having this in mind, we must have a very good strategy. Because honestly speaking, without a good strategy, clearing all the 13 topics within the 3 months, at some point, it is always a challenge. But the beauty part is that for us, we've always developed a strategy. And this strategy has always worked. And it is the same strategy that we are going to use this semester. The same strategy that we are going to use this semester. So this is what we are going to do. Immediately after this class, Mwalimu will share all part 1 part of taxation and public finance, which is basically public finance. Immediately after this class, Mwalimu is going to share brief notes from topic 1 up to topic number 6. This is area of public finance. So now, this is what we are going to do. Looking at taxation component, part or topic number 7 is a theoretical part. So what Mwalimu will be doing, we will be starting our class. We take like 30 minutes to handle the theory part, because you'll be having the notes, and you guys, at least I'm expecting you guys to cooperate. You'll have gone through the notes a bit. So that what Mwalimu will be doing, the first 30 minutes that we'll be having, we will be explaining, I'll be explaining whatever that you have read on the notes, for you to get more insight and for you to analyze the concept very well. So after we are done with the 30 minutes, we jump to the area of computation. And in this case, we'll find that for tax, I can tell you for sure, the backbone, we only have 4 items. Not 4, but 5 items. If you perfected on these 5 items, this is something that you can clear within a month. This is something that you can clear within a month. Give it a maximum of 2 months. If at all we master the strategy and 5 key areas, the backbone of tax that Mwalimu will share with us. So the strategy will be looking at the theory part, and at the same time handling the taxation part. We'll be looking at public finance at the same time handling the taxation component. And that's why Mwalimu was saying that immediately after this class, I'm going to share the whole notes from topic number 1 to topic number 6, very brief notes. So that when we'll be starting on this case, again, we are not going to follow the way it is like this. We are not going to follow the way like topic 7, 8, the way it has been arranged. This will be the case. On the part of taxation, we are going to start with this as our number 1. We are going to start with introduction to taxation as our number 1, because it will give us the idea to do with the whole concept of tax. After we are done with that, we are going to jump to topic number 9. we're going to jump to topic number 9. Topic number 9, in terms of investment allowance, this is a capital allowance, us understanding each and every component there. So this is what? Number 2 part. After we are done with that bit, the other element that you're going to jump to now will come back to topic number 8. You'll find that, my good students, topic number 8 is the longest topic. Topic number 8 is the longest topic and also a very key and important topic in our syllabus. For examination purposes, this topic, in terms of calculation, it will cover up to 60%. It will cover up to 60% when it comes to the computation part. So it will be important that you understand this, and you can't handle taxation of income of persons well if you're not good in understanding the capital allowances. And that's why we've said we are going to start with what? With the investment allowances. So after we are done with topic number 8, we will jump to part of VAT, which is our number 4. We're going to jump to VAT, being number 4. So that after we are done with the VAT, then we'll come back to this part, topic number 10. So that the last component we are going to combine, this will be the last bit that we are going to combine. And because, again, this is a theory part, what Mwalimu will do, Mwalimu will also share part of this. And what we'll be doing will be explaining the concept in relation to this component here. So that using this strategy, I can assure you that we are going to have like 3 or 4 good weeks to do our revision. We are going to have 3 or 4 weeks to do our revision. It has always worked, that strategy, and I also believe this semester is also going to work. This semester is also going to work. So long as you guys, you agree to cooperate with Mwalimu. Number 1, you'll be having access to the pre-recorded version of the classes. The pre-recorded version of the classes will give you a chance to study in advance. So that when Mwalimu says that, you know what, my good students, in our next class, we are going to handle, say, like investment allowances. I am expecting you guys to, however busy you are, try to at least allocate even an hour to go through what Mwalimu has said is going to cover in the next class. Say, we've mentioned that we're going to cover investment allowances. Because you have this video in advance, what you need to do, just go and familiarize yourself with the concept of investment allowance. So that when Mwalimu comes to class, at least you guys, you are not green. We are starting from somewhere. We are not starting from scratch. This will provide us with an ample time to do a lot of questions and also to look at various concepts, which as at the end of the day, it will be a plus on our end. So I am expecting you guys that by now, I know all of us, you must have access to the pre-recorded version. We must have access to the pre-recorded version. This will provide us with time to be studying in advance. You see, even the theory part that Mwalimu is saying, these videos are there. The videos of all these topics are there. So all you need to do is just to go and use the videos to study or to learn. And at that point, after you've done that, when Mwalimu will be explaining, it will be as if you are refreshing. It will be as if you're doing what? You're refreshing. This will make our work much easier. And if at all we cooperate with Mwalimu, this I can tell you for free, and I can give you my word that we will be having at least a month or 3 weeks purely to do our revisions. So this is what will be expected at least to cover. And as I've also mentioned, that at this point, this class was all about strategy. And for tax, I'm going to share with you the 5 key points that if at all we master these points, then we'll be having a very smooth ride when it comes to tax. So the first mentality, we take tax to be a very interesting unit. After that, we have our perception that whatever that we are doing, it is purely for knowledge. After knowledge is when the exam will follow, and that will make our work much, much, much easier. So to that point, I think today was just an overview. Of course, tomorrow we are going to start with our classes officially, whereby immediately after the class I've said, I'm going to share the whole notes for public finance from topic number 1 to number 6, so that tomorrow we are going to use that strategy. We take the first 30 minutes, we do the theory part, then we embark on the computation part of tax. So that is what we will be having. So that point, probably anyone with a comment, anyone with a question you want to ask Mwalimu, the floor is open. The floor is open. Anyone with anything to say before Mwalimu wishes us a good night? Great. So you guys, I'm expecting like tomorrow we meet at the same time, and we'll be having a very smooth ride when it comes to matters with tax. So that point, you have a good night. See you in the next class. Mary is having a question. Yes, Mary?
Yes, you said we'll be having audit tomorrow morning, or you said when?
Yeah, audit is expected to, yes, we are expecting to have our audit tomorrow at around 5:45 in the morning. 5:45 in the morning. 5:45 a.m. 5:45 a.m. Okay?
Okay.
Great. So you guys have a good night. See you in our next class. Bye-bye.